wanted to improve your free throw shooting? Now you can. Obviously, practicing free throws every day will help you get better. However, there's also a way using physics to help you get better. This basic principle of physics is called projectile motion, and once you understand the basic principles of projectile motion, shooting a free throw will become much, much easier. Free throws, in theory, should be one of the easiest shots in basketball, hence why they have free in the name, because they should be free points. You are wide open, right in front of the basket, and you have up to 10 seconds to collect your thoughts and shoot the ball. However, many players struggle with this, and here is a mathematical way to help you make your free throws. Before we get into the math of projectile motion, here are some basic principles that we should understand. First, what is a projectile? A projectile is an object that is given an initial velocity and then acted upon by the force of gravity, which causes it to move in a curved path. The shape of this path is called a parabola. Next, the path that the projectile takes is called its trajectory. Another thing that we need to know is that the force of gravity that is acting upon the object causes it to accelerate downward with a force of 9.8 meters per second squared. The next aspect of projectile motion we need to understand is that when we are solving our problems, it is important to separate it into an x and y component, the x being horizontal and the y being vertical. The horizontal is used to find the maximum range, or the maximum distance that the object will travel, while the y component is used to find out the maximum height. Here are the equations we will be using to help us with our free throws. So here's what we know. The distance from the free throw line to the hoop is 4.191 meters. We also know that the distance from the ground to the hoop is 3.05 meters. And I'm not that tall, so the height that I release the ball will be 1.75 meters. We can do some basic math to find out what we don't know using what we do know. We find our vertical velocity to be about 5.04 meters per second. Using the first equation, we find that the time is around half a second. And finally, using the second equation, our horizontal velocity is about 8.21 meters per second. Setting up our vertical and horizontal velocities like this allows us to use Pythagorean theorem, in which we find that our initial velocity is around 9.63 meters per second. And using some trig, we can find that theta is equal to 32.5 degrees. So now that we know what I need to do to make a free throw perfectly every single time, let's go test it. As you can see, I made the shot, and the ball followed the principles of projectile motion, which we discussed earlier. And because I made the shot, the initial velocity and the angle at which my elbow was at when I shot the ball must have been very close, if not perfect, to our calculations. To become a great free throw shooter, all you have to do is understand the basic principles of projectile motion, do a little bit of math, and practice every day.